as most of you know, the World Cup happened in 2022, and it was hosted by the country of Qatar. And most of you don't know this, but it was scheduled for the winter starting on November 20th to December 18th due to heat. And fun fact, it's the first time they ever played in the winter. So there were 32 teams, 8 groups of 4, and a little summary of what happened. The final stage, the final match was France versus Argentina. It was 3-3, tie game. Argentina won on penalties, and Argentinian fans were very excited. They were very happy. French fans not so much, but a little rundown on the infrastructure. Qatar built 8 stadiums in 5 different cities, which allows fans to watch multiple games like in one day. FIFA estimated a total of 1.5 billion viewers. Qatar allegedly spent 200 billion on infrastructure, stadiums, all that, workers, but they only made 17 billion. So on first glance, it would seem that the World Cup was unprofitable, but Qatar was really future thinking. And a little rundown on Qatar's economy. They're a big oil cash crop, I guess, not really crop, but they're a big oil rich country. And as you guys probably can infer, with EVs getting better and better, the world's going to be less dependent on oil. So Qatar realizes this, and they're trying to switch gears from a big oil country to more of like a vacation spot type travel country. So all that infrastructure should hopefully pay off for them. But they did face a lot of criticism. First off, they're very against LGBTQ and women. They restrict women's rights. And the worst of all of them is their treatment of migrant workers. So these people work from different countries, usually really poor countries, and they work in Qatar on the stadiums and the infrastructure, and a lot of them didn't get paid. Most of them got paid, but they got paid very little, and they were extremely overworked. They were dehydrated, and this was in the summer. So yeah, they were dehydrated. It's a very dangerous job, and they didn't get paid much at all, and some of them didn't even get paid. So switching gears a little bit, the benefits on Qatar is the increase in tourism, as a lot of people obviously want to watch the games. So the hotels, the bars, if you sell food, businesses were boosted. Qatari pride increased, and they had a lot of media exposure, which could be good, but also obviously was kind of bad. And yeah, consumer spending, infrastructure increased. So yeah, that's how it affected Qatar. But Argentina, so a little rundown on Argentina's economy. In the 19th century, Argentina was a big cash crop country, and in the 20th century, in the very beginning of the 20th century, they really started to boom, which led to a economic increase. But later in the 20th century, it led to instability. So there was a lot of inflation, there was a coup, and there was a lot of debt. Fast forward to post-World War II, Argentina started something called ISI, which is Import Substitution Industry, which they switched from relying on foreign exports or foreign imports to developing domestic industries, which did them well in the start. Like, they experienced a lot of industrial growth, but it was pretty inefficient, and it led to fiscal imbalances. So some areas of Argentina weren't developing as well as others. So, and then in the 70s and 80s, this is where it really started going downhill. They started something called a military dictatorship, which was really oppressive, and ultimately led to a big declination of Argentina's economy, and that led to Carlos Menem taking presidential spot in Argentina's office. And what he did, he tried to reduce inflation by tying the peso to the dollar, which led to some growth, but it also led to a lot of inequality, unemployment, social unrest. And then in the early 2000s, there's a huge crisis. They had a lot of debt, a lot of inflation, big economic drop, and it just wasn't good for them at all. So Argentina's economy has been struggling for a while now. And this, in December of 2022, obviously they won the World Cup, and that didn't really increase the economy by much, to be honest. They're still dealing with inflation, but they did get a lot of tourist revenue because, you know, maybe people might have family members in Argentina and might want to visit. I'm assuming like the bars and stuff got a lot of business, maybe like restaurants. But they definitely experienced a lot of pride and media exposure, so that's very good for them. But all in all, their economy didn't really increase that much from the win, which is kind of expected. Like, hosting the World Cup might change the economy, but winning it, I don't think so. But we'll see in the near future how it impacts Qatar's economy, because they did obviously lose a lot of money. The World Cup was really unprofitable, but we'll see how it plans out in the future, which is really what they were looking for. So, yep.